Hello, I'm Jan Knoll, Deputy Director of Competitive Events for HOSA Future Health Professionals. And today's talk is going to be a little bit different. We know it is the season for state leadership conferences, so we wanted to provide you some information on preparation for your competitive events. So we're going to start with talking a little bit about what self-assessment is. It's where students learn to look at the learning process, the skills and knowledge, hopefully to lead to better performance. It's not simply a self-rating, and it's definitely not guesswork. It requires reflection using specific criteria. The benefits of using self-assessment is you're going to learn to set goals, take an active role in ownership of your learning, to develop a deeper understanding of metacognitive skills, which is how learning about learning and how you self-assess. It's going to encourage critical thinking, and we all know that healthcare providers need to be critical thinkers. It's going to boost self-confidence, provide independent learning, and one of the things that we know is health career providers have to be lifelong learners because things are changing every day. We also want to see motivation and engagement increased. Some tools that you can use for self-assessment include reflection journals, where you literally write down what you learned, what the challenges were, and then you go back and review that so that you can see your growth. You can see the areas where you continue to need improvement. Checklists, which are specific and objective. You can check them off as you go. It keeps you focused. It keeps you on task. Rubrics, the nice thing about HOSA's competitive events is we have rubrics provided for you. You can go through and see what you need to do to get the highest score on the rubric. Self-assessment surveys, you're asking yourself what I learned, where I need to go from here. So it's a way to just check your progress. You're going to have to set aside the time needed for self-reflection. It's not going to come naturally. You're going to have to really make a conscious effort to spend some time doing that self-reflection. And it's extremely important that you're honest with yourself. If you're not, then there's not going to be much gained from the experience. Some tools you can use for presentations. One of the things that works really well for a number of students is to video yourself and review and analyze for areas of improvement. I was watching a sporting event, and a gentleman sportscaster was saying, I worked with him at the beginning of my career, and when I finished working with him the first time, he said 16 times. And I looked at him, he said, that's how many times you said, do you know? Most of us have some things we say or some posturing that we do while we're presenting. So it's a really nice way for you to analyze those areas of improvement. Find a mentor to assess your presentation. It can be someone in the career you're interested in. It can be a drama teacher, an English teacher. And they can serve as your practice judges where you provide them with a rubric. And then they can give you some feedback to help with your improvement. If you're taking a written test, there's numerous online tools. Quizlet, Kahoot, you probably know more than I do, but those would be really beneficial. If you're working in team, there's some things that you really need to think about. The team needs to have open communication. Folks need to know what their roles and responsibilities are because you want to develop trust and accountability. You want to maintain a shared goal with everybody staying committed, adapting together, and developing an environment of respect. Some things for you to ask yourself is, how many times did I read the guidelines? The guidelines are released in September so that you know what's expected of you. But for most of the guidelines, reading them once is not going to be enough. So we encourage you to read them numerous times. Ask yourself, how many times did I practice the presentation or the skills demonstration? Did I seek a mentor to provide feedback? Did I record myself and analyze for improvement? Over the years, what judges tell us is that members need to review the guidelines and members need to practice, practice, practice. One of the things that's provided on the HOSA website for you under competitive events, useful tools, is judge feedback. These were put on there this year to allow students who, we always get requests for a copy of the rating sheet, and that is not something we provide, but we did want to provide some opportunities for students to have some feedback. So here's an example, Foundations of Vet Science. We asked the judges, what did the competitors do well? What could they improve? And what's the it factor? So you can look through there and see the things that were impressive, the things that they felt like students needed to spend more time on. And then I always think it's interesting, what's the it factor? And that for this particular event was their confidence when they demonstrated the skill, that they followed the guidelines, and that they showed reassurance to the animal during their skill demonstration. So all of those will provide you with some opportunities to see what judges have had to say about that particular event. We hope you find this information helpful. We want to welcome you to Nashville this summer. We'd love to see you at top 3 at your state leadership conference and come prepared for an awesome ILC experience. Thank you.